Good morning, Inspiration patrons. I'm really excited today to do a wet on wet watercolor that will build on the same exercise that I did in the invitation series on Jana's Angel this month. So what you're going to be needing is just the three basic colors: lemon yellow, carmine red, and Prussian blue. And you need, of course, a wet on wet soaked piece of paper, a couple of buckets of water, a few brushes, and some rags. And now let's get started. All right, we're going to start by just wetting the brush and taking yellow, clean yellow, and I want you to let a rich, clean yellow expand into the page. And I will allow this yellow to sort of lightly sweep downwards here. It should be a little lighter on the sides also as it moves over, and maybe even around the edges very lightly. Then wash your brush very well, and let's take blue. And this blue is going to come down here, and it's going to work its way slightly towards the yellow and also around this side. Lighter on the edges, but not even touching yellow yet. And then wash your brush and do the same thing with red. Red is going to come in this interim space, and then it's just going to expand a bit. And then I'll wash it, taking off much of the red, and let the red expand lightly on its edges towards the blue, and also around here towards the yellow. And you notice that I'm leaving a center space white. That's very important that you not fill up all the color. Now, I'm going to just continue with this light red, letting it move into yellow here. And of course, what does that create? It makes orange. And I want you to see if you can get yourself a nice orange up there that doesn't take too much of the yellow away. Then wash your brush and come back to your blue again. I'm going to increase this part of the blue a little bit so it's a little bit richer. And then I'm going to take the blue and let it move into the yellow to create green. And I'm careful that I don't use up all of the yellow space. It's easy to want to keep going with green, and then there would be no pure yellow up here. So I want to make sure that I don't take away all the yellow, but still allow the green to arise here. Then washing the brush, I'm going to take the blue again, and here where where blue meets the red, it's going to make a violet. And again, I don't want to use up all of my red, but I do want kind of equal spaces. Eventually, I want them to be equal. So here we go. And now you can see I have yellow and green, blue, and a little bit of violet, red, and a little bit of orange. I could probably increase the size of some of these, like the violet and the orange. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to just dip right into my yellow and put it right on what I consider to be the orange space. And as I do, I'm just eking in a little bit of that red. And look at that rich orange that's developing. I don't want it to get too vermilion. And what is the quality of the orange? It should be both active and passive. What does that mean? It should have activity, but also be quiet. And now let's come down here to the violet. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of the blue, push it around, and mix in some of the red that's already blooming into it. And what is the quality of the violet? It is wafting like smoke. So it needs to just move into the red with quite a lot of freedom. And the blue helps it to become more of a purple. And now let's do a little bit of work in our green. Pull a little bit of your blue into the green, and the green should sort of imitate a plant-like feeling, which it will very naturally do with rhythmical gestures that want to sort of grow. Be careful though, because they can grow so big that they'll take over the yellow. And now I have a fairly balanced situation, and I have this center part. So the next step will be, when you get yours balanced all the way around, for you to clean your waters and come back with pure fresh water. Now that we've created a white space which is surrounded by the beautiful colors of the color wheel, we're just going to take some pure water, nothing, no color, and start right in the center of the white space and put on a goodly amount of water. And let your brush have this white puddle begin to expand outwards. And when it reaches the edges here, it's going to bleed in, or bloom in, as they say. And we just want pure water to have the color bloom in, because on each side, when it blooms, it'll be different. Look at it come together. It's so pretty. Now, what are we going to do with this white space? We're actually going to create it into an angel figure with all these colors blooming into it. So now I've taken a brush which I've washed and dried, and I'm going to come back and recreate a little bit of that sacred space, which would be the head. And here I see a line which I want. And I keep washing my brush and drying it as I lift off some of the water. Some of the water that I just put in has to come back out. And as I'm lifting off, I begin to imagine my space, my angel space, which is here. Keep washing and drying and lifting to kind of hold a barrier of that water. And here in my wing area, I'm also going to lift. to wash my brush, dry it, and wick into the white. I may even paint into the white somewhat and wick into it. Wash, dry, and wick. This is very abstract, and that's fine. I just want you to enjoy the beauty of color as it can create a sacred form. The surrounding color supports the inside form. So you don't have to work too hard here. Just keep lifting what you see should be accentuated. And now I'm going to use the tip of my brush to take maybe a little bit of red from here because I want to accentuate a gold out here. So I take touches of red on my brush, just touches, to allow this to create a wing shape. Maybe even a little bit of an outline to it. And here, outlining the face, just a little. And if I like, I can come in and create a little more green by taking yellow and a touch of blue. And I could surround the background here, the outside of this form, with a little bit of green. Softening is very important to creating a form that feels natural, but also is pleasing. So we put on color and then we smooth color in wherever we want. We put it on and we smooth it in. We wash and we dry and we lift somewhat. And look up here. We're going to have to come back again and again to that head shape. And you know, there's nothing to say that the other wing might not be coming over here. Okay, my dear patrons, what you see is a somewhat abstracted form here, and what we have is just an indication of an internal figure that's created by the surrounding colors, which are a color wheel of starting with yellow, blue, and red. And next month in December, I'm going to show you how, if you want, you could come back to a theme like this and make it more discernible as a figure, an angel, or whatever it is that you might see in the colors.